The world of espionage fiction has lost one of its most influential voices. Len Deighton, the British novelist who redefined the spy genre, has passed away at the age of 97. Best known for his groundbreaking novel The Ipcress File, Deighton challenged everything audiences thought they knew about spies. At a time when glamorous heroes dominated the screen and page, he introduced a different kind of intelligence officer.
Someone is trying to frame me. You've got to help me.
But you're just too hot, Farmer.
One shaped not by luxury and spectacle, but by bureaucracy, realism, and quiet resilience. His work didn't just tell stories. It changed the very structure of modern espionage storytelling. What made Len Deighton's approach to espionage fiction revolutionary? Deighton broke away from the world created by Ian Fleming and his iconic spy James Bond. Instead of high-stakes fantasy filled with gadgets and glamour, he introduced a grounded, working-class intelligence officer. This character operated in a world of paperwork, limited resources, and constant pressure from superiors. The focus shifted from action to process, from fantasy to realism. Espionage became less about saving the world and more about surviving within complex systems.
Harry Palmer. What happens to him concerns you. Yes, you. And you.
How Harry Palmer represented a new kind of spy. The central figure in the Ipcress File, often identified as Harry Palmer, was unlike any spy audiences had seen before. He was intelligent but not heroic in the traditional sense. He questioned authority, resisted control, and navigated a system that often seemed more dangerous than the enemy. His working-class background added another layer, highlighting class tensions within British intelligence. This made him relatable, human, and far more realistic than the polished agents of earlier fiction.
You will forget all about the Ipcress File. You have forgotten your name.
In truth, his name is Michael K. And no one will forget his name.
Why authenticity became a defining feature of Deighton's work. One of Deighton's greatest strengths was his obsession with accuracy. He focused on the technical and procedural aspects of intelligence work, including logistics, surveillance methods, and psychological manipulation. His novels often included detailed explanations and even document-style elements that felt like classified material. This created a sense that the reader was gaining access to hidden truths rather than consuming fiction. This level of realism set a new standard for the genre and influenced generations of writers.
Michael K. He walks straight into sensational stardom in the Ipcress.
How his background shaped his storytelling style. Before becoming a novelist, Deighton worked as an illustrator. This visual training influenced the way he wrote scenes. His descriptions are precise, layered, and highly visual. Locations, objects, and actions are described in a way that allows the reader to clearly picture every detail. This approach gave his stories a cinematic quality while maintaining a strong sense of realism. What role food and cooking played in his narratives? One of the most unique elements in Deighton's work is the emphasis on cooking. His protagonist is deeply interested in food, often preparing meals with care and precision. This was not simply a character quirk. It symbolized independence and control in a world dominated by rigid authority. Cooking became a quiet act of rebellion. It also mirrored the process of intelligence work. Just like preparing a meal, gathering information requires patience, attention to detail, and careful timing.
File, as he gets right under the skin of the brash, cocky, wry-humored Harry Palmer.
How Deighton built suspense through realism rather than action. Instead of relying on dramatic action sequences, Deighton created tension through slow, methodical storytelling. His narratives focus on uncertainty, incomplete information, and the constant risk of betrayal. The danger often comes from within institutions rather than from external enemies. This approach creates a deeper, more psychological form of suspense that keeps the audience engaged without relying on spectacle.
The soldier seconded from the army for security duties, who's never far away from a girl, and always closer than close to trouble.
Now get this.
What defines the game, set, and match trilogy in works like Berlin Game, Mexico Set, and London Match, Deighton expanded his storytelling into complex, long-form narratives. These stories explore the Cold War as a system of shifting loyalties and hidden agendas. Characters are forced to make difficult choices in a world where trust is fragile and often misplaced. The trilogy highlights his ability to maintain tension over extended narratives while deepening character development and thematic complexity.
Now Harry's in Berlin, with the wall between him and his next perilous assignment.
Why moral ambiguity is central to his work. Deighton removed the clear line between good and evil that defined earlier spy fiction. His characters operate in a gray world where decisions are rarely straightforward. Loyalty can change, and institutions cannot always be trusted. This ambiguity reflects the realities of intelligence work, where outcomes are uncertain and ethical boundaries are often blurred.
Harry's arranging a funeral in Berlin. He just hopes it won't be his.
How his work anticipated modern intelligence challenges. Through detailed research and careful observation, Deighton explored themes that have become increasingly relevant. He examined surveillance, information control, and the growing importance of technology in intelligence operations. These elements now define modern espionage, making his work feel ahead of its time and highly relevant today.
I wish to defect.
Will you cooperate? Information?
Yes.
I'll tell them that you talk well and lie badly.
Harry Palmer's back and in dead trouble.
How Len Deighton influenced modern writers and television. Deighton's legacy can be seen in the works of authors like Mick Herron and in series such as Slow Horses. These modern stories continue to focus on flawed characters, bureaucratic systems, and realistic depictions of intelligence work. They carry forward Deighton's vision of espionage as a profession defined by complexity rather than heroism. Why his version of the spy story still matters today. In a world shaped by cyber warfare, global surveillance, and information battles, Deighton's approach feels more relevant than ever. He showed that intelligence work is not about glamorous missions, but about analysis, patience, and navigating uncertainty. His stories remind us that the true power in espionage lies not in action, but in understanding and controlling information. Finally, Len Deighton leaves behind a legacy that reshaped an entire genre. By replacing fantasy with realism and heroes with human complexity, he created a new blueprint for espionage storytelling. His influence continues to shape books, films, and television, proving that grounded, intelligent narratives have a lasting impact. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for more deep dives into history, literature, and global stories.